So SkinVision, we're in Amsterdam based, and what we do is early detection of skin cancer. So skin cancer is a big growing problem at the moment in the world. So 1 in 3 cancers diagnosed is actually skin cancer. So that's that's a very significant number, and the growth 7% on a year-to-year basis. Then we have the other issue that the GPs, the general practitioners, normally are not trained. Well, they're not specialized. That's the whole reason why we have dermatologists and GPs. So they're not very good at recognizing skin cancer, or what is also like one of those problems. You don't know how good you are at recognizing how good you are until you are at the level that you're so good. So most of these GPs think that they're very good at recognizing skin cancer. And then we have the dermatologist. Well, in Denmark, you have even less dermatologists per person than we have in the Netherlands. But also in New Zealand and Australia, the number of dermatologists per inhabitant is very low. So they have too much workload. And in the end, the thing is that almost all cases of skin cancer are treatable if recognized in an early enough stage. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to make sure that everybody can be at the right doctor at the right time. Because if we do this, then in most cases the skin cancer will be treatable. And by doing this, we expect to save 250,000 lives over the next decade. And this is based on the fact that we know that about 50,000, there are about 50,000 cases of melanoma, which is the type of skin cancer which is the most dangerous one. And we think we can save half of those people with SkinVision and how we work. So how do we do this? Let's see if it starts automatically or I have to press something.
Skin cancer cases are growing at an alarming rate globally. In fact, 1 in 5 people will get skin cancer, but only 3% of the high-risk population for this disease are known about in the health system, and there is a shortage of doctors to deal with this problem. Most people are unaware of this issue, and many who notice an unusual spot on their skin will dismiss it as nothing until it's too late. SkinVision is committed to saving lives by enabling individuals to self-monitor and assess their risk and be in time at the right doctor. You use the camera on your phone to photograph possible problem spots on your skin for assessment. Within 30 seconds, the photo has been scanned with machine learning technology for possible signs of irregular patterns. You will receive a low, medium, or high-risk result. Store the photo and set a reminder to come back regularly to repeat the process and keep track of any changes. All photos are added to the SkinVision database and examined by dermatologists and image recognition experts. This way, we continuously improve the service together. If a photo does reveal an immediate risk during this examination, SkinVision will reach out to you and make sure you are prepared and in time at the right doctor. Join the SkinVision program today with your friends and family, because the best cure is acting at the right time. SkinVision. Look closer.
So, as you can see, a lot of overlap as well with other types of skin disease. It's mostly, well, knowing, well, it's a difficulty. Like, we ask you to know what you have, like check yourself for skin cancer, when the thing is that you don't know what you have. Like, check yourself for, in most cases you simply don't know what you have. So that's where we, where we help. At the moment, SkinVision, it's been downloaded over 1 million times. More than 1 million people, not users, but people have used SkinVision. And all these people are making photos and they're going into our database, which we use to get better and better at recognizing skin cancer. Right now we have over 3 million photos. And what I personally think is the most amazing thing about how we work is that, well, you make these photos with your own phone. There are all types of ways of looking into skin cancer and recognizing it. And one of those ways is with a dermatoscope, it's called in Dutch. In English, it's like a very specialized lens, which you can use, and you can see like in great detail what a mole, for example, looks like. But the thing is that even I don't own one of these, and I work at SkinVision. So we believe that the best camera is the one you have with you. That's the one that everybody has access to, because how do you know that you need a dermatoscope if you don't know what you have? So all these photos are made with phone cameras and with the special technology that we have in this camera for making standardized photos. And then we have over 15,000 cases of skin cancer found so far. And this is focused on melanoma, BCC and SCC. And BCC and SCC are not as dangerous as the melanoma. But these are the three main types of skin cancer that we can find. All right, here's the patient that I promised as well, Stacy.
My name's Stacey Everson. I'm 30 years old. I have two boys, 11 and 13. A friend of mine told me about this app that they'd seen on Facebook. I didn't really understand how it worked, but I downloaded it anyway and took a photo of the mole that my family was worried about. It came back saying that I needed to go and see a doctor and that it was urgent, and so I did a couple of days later. The doctor took the mole out right then and there, and then a week later he called me back to tell me that it had been tested and it came back positive for early stages of melanoma. It would have been really easy to not do anything about the mole. Like, I like to think that I look after myself, but something like that I wouldn't have thought would have been melanoma. Being a mother of two boys, it really freaked me out. You know, just thinking about if I did get melanoma and it went to a different level, what would happen to them? I just feel so blessed. Like, I actually can't believe that I was so lucky. I've made a lot of my friends download SkinVision because it saved my life. It's just a really good tool to keep an eye on your moles, really, and it's good to be able to look back and see if the moles changed. And I've been able to do the boys and my family and things like that. It's so cheesy, but you just don't think it's going to happen to you until it does.
So how does it work? You can download SkinVision, so you use the service through the application on your phone. And you take a picture of a spot on your skin that you think might be something wrong with. In most cases this is a mole, or it can be also a non-pigmented skin spot. You send it to us, and within 30 seconds we'll get back to you and give you a low, medium or high risk indication. And this is done by our machine learning algorithm. So we compare this photo as well. I will show a little bit later how we exactly go through this with machine learning. But it also gets compared to all the data that we have in our database, and based on that we give you a low, medium or high risk advice. All photos are also looked at by our dermatologist, and they enhance this with diagnostic data. And this is used once again to train the algorithm and further in recognizing skin cancer. So every photo, every piece of data that we get will get us a step closer to those 250,000 lives. And if we see something that's not just, so high risk does not necessarily mean that it's skin cancer, because, well, the way I like to explain this is that not all, so we look for irregular patterns, that's one of the things. And not all irregular patterns are skin cancer, but pretty much all skin cancers have irregular patterns. So when we look at those photos, and when our dermatologists see, well, this is something that definitely needs a doctor in real life to look at, we will get back to the user and we tell them, make sure that you get to that doctor. So we are until we can cut out with our phones moles and everything, we're not going to be able to do anything there, and that's also not our intent. But we are trying to make sure that with this growing population and the growing pressure on the health system, we can actually help with the triage, make sure the people that need to be at the doctor, that they are there, but also people that don't need to be there, that they don't have to go to the doctor. So that we're actually making sure that the doctors can spend the time on the case that actually need the help. Let me see. Yeah. All right, quick question. Maybe it's easy, maybe not, but yeah, so I don't know if anybody here knows what skin cancer looks like, but there's skin cancer in one of these photos. Anybody, any idea? C? That's correct. But an A, B, and D would have been correct as well. It's all skin cancer. But it's the thing, like you don't know what is, most cases you don't know what it's what it looks like. And there are many, there's the A, B, C, D, E version of looking at it. Like is there symmetry in a mole? Is the color correct? Is the border, is it even or uneven? It may be good to do a little lesson because then you can do your own check as well. So the asymmetry, like you make two X's and you see whether there's symmetry in there. And the less symmetry, that's not a good sign. You want to have symmetry. Then you have the border, like is it even or uneven? Especially here you can see that this is not a nice even border. The color, are there more than one colors available in the, like this is 2 colors, 3 colors maybe even. The diameter, is it more than 6 millimeters or not? And evolution or elevation, is there change in what's happening? So that's probably the most important sign. Okay, so in all these cases, what we do when we make a photo, because these are all photos made with the SkinVision application. So you do a smart check, and the smart check with SkinVision consists of 2 steps. One is the smart camera, which makes sure that we get sort of like a standardized photo. And secondly, we have the algorithm look at it. So these photos have been made by our users, but as you can see, there are lots of different things happening here. Like this photo has hair on it. This photo, it's very light, the skin is very shiny. Here it's a very warm color, it's not very clear. So everything has a little bit of, it's difficult to assess this for skin cancer. So what we do, we take the photo and then we pretty much try to make sure that we look at the actual spot. And this is the thing that this is done with machine learning. This is how we train of actually looking at what is the skin spot and what is the skin itself. And this is what we're world champion at the moment. So you can see that here it recognizes the exact spot. And then because we can recognize it, here the imprinting happens, and that's where we get rid of everything and everything that might distract the algorithm of looking at not just the skin spot, but something else as well. So hair gets removed and the color gets adjusted a little bit. And then you have the machine learning algorithm afterwards looking at these spots and at what level we do that. At the moment we do that with a sensitivity of 94% for melanoma and 92% for non-melanoma skin cancers, so the BCC and the SCC. And with the quality check that we do afterwards, so every photo is checked by our dermatologist as well, we get to 97% sensitivity. And just to put that in perspective, that means that the GP scores a 60% on average, and a dermatologist is, on average is 75 to 92%. The specialized dermatologists score 98%. On average. And we have a specificity of 80%. But in the end, for us, the most important thing is that we're not letting any melanoma or skin cancers pass through. So the sensitivity is the most important thing. Okay, so where do we want to go with this? First of all, so we're very good at recognizing skin cancers on photos, but we do that now with our special software, special camera software, so that we can actually so all the photos look pretty much the same. But it also means that we're asking of you to choose which spot you're photographing and want to have assessed. And in the end, you don't know what you have. So we want to get to the point where we can do the full body scans. You make a photo and we'll detect the spots. You just have to agree, and then we can assess those for skin cancer. So you can assess everything at once. Secondly, we want to, of course, get a higher accuracy. So the more data we get, as well as you said as well, like the more data we have, the better we can get at training. And also, even with what you said with the DNA, and you have the specialized treatments, because we have this, the way that we train the algorithm, we could also at a certain point say we have separate versions of algorithms for people with skin type 1 or skin type 6, because now we have this one version that works for everybody. But not everybody is the same. So we can also develop an algorithm that's better for people between 25 and 30 maybe. Or so yeah, also when you look at the trials, I think that's one of the big things where we're going. And in the end, what we really want to get to is being a default of the system, of the health system. So at the moment we're being reimbursed by by an insurer in the Netherlands and in Germany, and we're growing this because as Stacey also said, like most of the times you simply don't know that you have it, so we need to be very available for people to be able to use SkinVision for us to get to those 250,000 lives. everybody, because you're here, please try SkinVision 1 month for free. If you use this QR code, it's now like you can just use your iPhone and scan it on here, then you will get SkinVision for 1 month. Give it a try, and yeah, thanks.